Dr. Fred Rouse, welcome to an episode of Coffee in the Clouds. How are you?
Good afternoon. We're doing well. Thank you.
Fred, I ask everybody this question, okay? Who are you and what do you do?
I'm basically a retired certified financial planner. Spent 40 years in financial services and I'm retired now and I try and help people get enough money so they can retire and enjoy themselves too.
Okay, so are you retired, or are you just retired? I mean, what's your definition of retired, Fred?
Retirement to me is doing whatever you want to do without having to worry about the money. And so that's pretty much where I'm at. Been that way for a few years now.
Okay, so you were just in New York City, if I'm not mistaken, right? You just had a had an event there, right, or something. So what were you doing in New York City?
I got interviewed by Bob Guiney at for Wall Street Today, and it was a cute show. And again, just covering what I do basically, just trying to help people make money, retire sooner. And it was a fun event. New York's a little bit busy for me, but other than that, it was okay. I'm used to the quiet, as you can see behind me in my place in Delaware. It's nice and quiet, but couldn't pass up the interview with Bob Guiney, so I went up there. So if
Okay,
I got that day, it was right on the marquee, right in Times Square.
so you're not retired as in you're painting oil paintings in Alaska retired. You're not that kind of retired, okay? So what is it that you're still
No,
doing?
I'm retired so I can amuse myself, and you have to get back.
Okay,
You
so
have
if
to get
I
back.
if I was going to say, hey Fred, a lot of people are going to see this. Who do you want to see this? Who is the audience that needs to see and needs to understand what you have to offer?
I worked for 40 years with working class folks. Anybody who's actually working for a living. If they're a trust fund baby living off granddad's trust fund, they don't need me. They're not going to see me. That's okay. But if you're out working for a living, either digging holes as a landscaper, cutting grass, or a CEO of your own company, okay, these are the people who actually work with me. And things have happened in their lives, and they've just been so busy working on a daily basis that they lose track of their retirement situation. And when they do, age 50, 55, 60, they think, God, I only got $100,000. I got $500,000. I got a million plus. It's not really enough to keep my lifestyle for the rest of my life. So those are the people I work with.
What are the things that you bring to the table and that you help to educate people on that they're not going to find from, their local bank who has a wealth advisor, or the classic path, if you will, for financial advice? What is it that we're going to get that you can bring?
Well, the traditional financial planning has always been around for years, started in the 50s or so. And the idea was you save $1,000 a month for 30 years and you'll be fine. But that hasn't worked for most folks. And all they have to do is look at their account statements to figure that out. They haven't had enough money to put into the account. When they do put it in, they end up taking it out for some emergency somewhere along the line. And there's a market crash every 6 to 10 years or so.
Mhm.
So things happen along the way. And what I bring is something totally different where they can get a small account, okay, maybe $5,000, $10,000 tops is all I want in somebody's account, in their account. And I show them how to get triple digit returns out of that so that they don't have to wait 30 years. They can get triple digit returns in year one of actual trading.
Mm. So sounds good. What's your response when people say, well, that sounds too good? That sounds a little weird. How do you respond to that?
That happens a lot. And it does. They're just not used to it. I mean, people are very used to paying 30% plus on their credit cards, but then they only earn 8 to 10%. And they think if you earn anything more, you can't do that.
Mm.
Well, it's just a frame of reference. And the big money people on the inside, the greedy money folks, they don't want you to know that you don't need their financial products.
Mm.
8, 10, 12% is not going to get anything for you. I was speaking with a woman earlier today. She's 67. Nice enough woman. Okay. She's Her husband died a few years back, and she's running out of money. She's
Mm,
$100,000 left at age 67. What's she going to do now?
yeah.
She needs to do something different. And you say the word commodities, it's a commodity program. Again, it's a retirement program, but we focus on commodities, just two. There's only 20. You pick out whatever two you want. I don't care what they are. They're lines in a chart. They go up, they go down. We make money either way. And the thing is, we're only in the market for 4 hours, 4 days at a time, and it's after market hours. So we're not stuck on a computer. And commodities is the only thing that gives you the amount of leverage that you can actually control and get phenomenal returns. I've been doing triple digit returns since 2008. Not one bad year, not one losing year, triple digit returns
Wow.
every year.
Wow. Wow. Um, so, I mean, I'm not expecting you to, to explain on this interview, um, how you do it or, what sets you apart. But can you give us a hint? Can you give us a little bit of an
Sure.
insight as to why you're able to be so successful like that?
Sure. Most financial planners and retirement planners, they go crazy with the thought of commodities. They say the same two things all the time. You're going to lose all your money. It's too risky. Well, so far, you know, I get on average 900% returns every year. It's really, really simple. You go to the grocery store a couple times a month. Do you ever get lost going to the grocery store?
Hmm.
Do you ever get lost on the way back home? No, it's the same process.
Yeah.
And so what people have done in the market is they chase everything all over the place. And they don't have a process. They buy a trading course, they buy more indicators. The phones are phenomenal. You can trade on your phone. We have all these trading tools for you. They're worthless.
Mm,
People that are making money are not trying to make money on their phone. It's not happening. They end up having one or two winning trades, and they have a half a dozen losing trades, and they can't figure out what the hell happened. Well, if you have the same process over and over again, it's hard to screw it up. If you're only dealing with two commodities, I don't care what two they are, you know your two commodities inside and out. You start your car every day. You can tell when something's not right with your car.
mm,
You don't have to be a mechanic to do that. Okay. You don't have to be a mechanic to understand that your car runs differently and responds differently than somebody else's car. If you're driving a Mercedes, it's certainly different than a Volkswagen Bug. If you're driving a Camry, it's different than a Chrysler minivan. It still gets you the same place, but each one responds differently. Once you know your two commodities, like you know your car, and you use the same process over and over again, it's hard not to make money. It really is.
mm, mm. Um, is it because of the way that the world is structured today? Is it the economy of today and the financial world of today that makes this so, or is this timeless? Is this where like this is you're speaking the truth, whether it was 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago?
Life changed after Reagan. Reagan was a very interesting guy, but life changed after that. It was the days of trickle down economics, and it hasn't gone away. And if you're in the top end, you're fine. If you're in the middle, you're sort of screwed.
Hmm.
Okay. And it took me 10 years to develop this program. And in 2008, I rolled it out. 2008 is when the market crashed. I took a $5,000 account then and ran it up to $50,000 in year number one. $5,000 in, $50,000 out. The process that I used then has not changed from today. I got one student with me for about 6 years right now. He's doing $30,000 a month. $30,000 a month. Is everybody going to do that? No. But the guy's been with me. He follows a process. You follow a process, you get the same result all the time. Sometimes you make a little bit more, sometimes you make a little less. You don't have winning trades all the time. But six, seven, eight, nine, 10 winning trades in a row before you have a losing trade. And then when you have a losing trade, you don't lose that much more than you made on a winning trade. You're making money by default. And no matter what happens, again, from 2008 to today, the process has not changed. It didn't matter who was in office, what war or non-war that they were fighting. Okay. Didn't matter what the economy was doing. Didn't matter who was in office. Same process all the time. Same two commodities all the time. You get the same result all the time.
What about people that are self-employed or entrepreneurs versus someone that, was a salaried person their whole life.
That's an interesting situation. Their mindset is different. If you're a salaried person, you take direction. Sometimes will sometimes only, sometimes not. But your job is taking direction from someone else. If you're self-employed, you're it. Your wins, your losses, your income, it's all up to you. And the mindset they attach to those things is different. We address that in the program. You have to, because each person is different, and their background experience affects the way they think and how they trade. Anybody who's self-employed, especially the smaller people that I worked with for 40 years, with 0 to 6 employees, these folks, if they have any extra money, it goes back into the business. And so by the time they go to retire, they really don't have anything at all. They've got their business.
Yeah.
And if they could sell their business, that'd be great. But most of them can't.
Right.
Most of them, their business is them.
Yeah.
If they get sick, they don't work, they don't make money.
Right.
This is nice. 20 minutes a day outside of work with no employees, no pressure, no people after the markets are closed. It's the best thing I've ever found.
Hmm. Hmm. So if someone was meeting you for the first time, how much time goes by before, they could become a testimonial relationship? How long does it take for the fruit to bear with your program?
That's a legitimate question. And the problem is most people want to jump right into things,
Right.
and that's why they lose money. Uh, the program took me 10 years to develop. I've got it laid out over a 9-week period. And that's fine. Doesn't take a lot of time, an hour or two a week, a video or two, and you get one PDF a week, no big deal. But then, especially in today's world, it's critical that you test things first. You shouldn't take my word for anything. You should take anybody's word for anything. You have to test it first.
Mhm.
And so the first thing they do is to back test their two commodities. They need to get 80% winning trades on a back test. Once they do that, they figure, oh, their program actually worked. He didn't lie to me. I did what he said, and I got 80% winning trades. They never get 80% winning trades. They get it with this, but that's not enough. That just meant they understand the system. But how do you make money with it? How can you prove to yourself that you actually make money with it too? That's why the program really takes 5 months from start to finish. Because at that point in time, after you back test it, you get the winning trades, I want you to forward test it in real time.
Mm.
When neither you or I have any control of what happens in the world. And at that point in time, you put a trade on one day, you have to wait until the next day to find out what happened. If you do that for the next 60 days, 90 days, okay, and you get 70% winning trades, 70% winning trades in a forward test when you have no control over anything, then and only then are you really qualified to go and open up a live account. If you can't do that in yourself, in your own house, with no pressure at all, how do you think you're going to do it? By flipping up a phone and, well, I got trading tools here. No, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
I want to make certain you've got the skills first. You've proved to yourself that you can make money with the program. 70% winning trades over a 90-day period. Most people are relatively happy with that. And then they go out and open up an account. And in the first year, get $30,000 to $50,000. And then they scale it from there.
Mm. So is this something, I mean, in my mind, I'm just doing the math, like, is it like, well, success breeding success, where you're able to, roll it over, or you're able to reinvest, or you're able to, in other words, I'm just trying to mentally understand, is it like climbing a ladder where your success of your trades enables you to go and replicate that at an even higher scale?
Well, the idea is that basically, yes. What happens is, as soon as you start going live, you trade one each of your two commodities. Only trade one contract each. And in the first year, you get $30,000 to $50,000. You put $5,000 in, maybe 10, no more. People get sloppy with bigger accounts. But you put in an initial amount. You can't put more money in and make it go faster.
Mhm.
That's a disaster. This is why people lose money. But if you follow a process, $5,000 in, $30,000 to $50,000 out in the first year, life is good. After you've done that, and now you're comfortable, it's not a real big deal to make $50,000 in a year outside of work with no people. You maintain 70% winning trades or better. At some point in time, you go to 75% winning trades just because you're more used to the system. No big deal. First time you got a new car, it took you what? Like the seat adjusted, adjust the mirrors and everything. Now you just get the car and move. No big deal. You're used to it. Same thing with the trading. Once you get used to it, your trading improves. Get 75% winning trades. Once you're 75%, now you do 2 contracts at a time. Same 2 commodities. Nothing has changed. The processes remain the same. The 2 commodities have stayed the same. Only now you're doubling up.
Mm.
That year number two, basically, you're doing between $60,000 to $100,000 a year. Well, $60,000 to $100,000 a year for my folks pretty much matches what they're earning all year long.
Yeah.
And they did this with no people after hours. Doesn't interfere with their job. If they've got their own business, it doesn't interfere with their business. Now, at some point in time, you fine tune a couple of little things and you get better over time. And maybe it takes you 6 months, maybe 9 months, maybe a year and a half, maybe. You go from 75 to 80% winning trades. That's when life gets interesting.
Mm.
At this point in time, now you start trading between 3 to 5 contracts at the same time. 3 to 5 contracts. Now you're doing 120 to $250,000 a year. 20 minutes a day, 2 to 3 times a month. This was all their money. Now it's all your money. You only put in $5,000 in year number one. This is just profits that grow, and you can start taking it out along the way. And I show people how to do something that no financial planner can ever do. I show them how to do that 100% tax-free with the IRS's blessing. Nothing remotely shaky. With the IRS's blessing. What more do people want? $250 a year. And if you're not happy with that, because it gets boring after a while, sorry. Okay. If you're making $100,000 a year, the idea of making $10,000 is ridiculous. Of course you can do $10,000 a year. No big deal. Your lifestyle's at $100,000 right now. Eventually, a $250 lifestyle is just routine for you now. It's not a real big deal. And maybe you want a little more of a challenge. Maybe you want some more money. No problem. Put on 2 new commodities. And you start them the same way. You back test them, you forward test them, you trade them for the first year, 1 contract at a time, trade them the second year, 2 at a time, third year, 3 to 5. And all of a sudden, now you're up to $500,000 a year. That's pretty good retirement money.
Yeah.
That you control. Nobody else is touching that money. You control it. And that's the biggest thing. The financial planners, oh yeah, we'll take care of your money. No, you're not. Nobody watches your money like you do. No, I've got 2 certified wealth managers in my program. These are the guys, when you have $1 million plus, you go see them and they try not to lose your money for you. And maybe they get you 4 or 5%, and you're relatively happy because you got a large lump sum to begin with. But if you don't have a large lump sum, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And why are these guys in my program? They know they can't get these returns. Now, I can't take somebody with $1 million and show them how to make $30 million in a year. I can't do that. But I can show somebody had like $10,000, $5,000 to $10,000, and get 30 to 50 in the first year and scale it up to 250 a year with no people. At that point in time, do you really want to work anymore?
Right.
Do you really want to exchange that much of your time, your life, to make money for somebody else? Or you'd rather just enjoy yourself?
Very good. Very good. So, what is a question that I could have asked? What is a question that you've been asked in the past that you would consider to be an absolutely fantastic interview question?
As for interview questions, I don't know. You've covered most everything. And again, who's it for? How much to get started? Not that much. $5,000 to $10,000 tops. How long does it take before I real hands-on results? All important things. Who's it for? Who's it not for?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's pretty much everything. And there are tons of people out there with opinions, and it's the internet world, and you can't help it. You
Yeah.
turn YouTube on, Facebook, everybody's got an opinion. No big deal. They can say whatever they want to say. And financial planners tend to hate what I do because you can't do that.
Yeah.
Well, here's my 1 year returns. Where's your 3 and 5 year returns? I'll outdo you dollar for dollar every time. And they go run and hide.
Right.
My 1 year returns far exceed what they can do dollar for dollar in 3 and 5 years. It's not their fault. They're not bad people. Just that they're focused on what they know and how can they make money. They make money. I sell mutual funds, life insurance, annuities, and all this index products. Here, you control all that stuff. If you got $50,000 in a market all year long, you made 10%. That's great. You made $5,000.
Mm, mm,
Here, $5,000 under your control, and you're only in the market maybe a quarter of that time. You're only in the market 4 days at a time. Trades only happen 3, 4 times a month on average. Okay. You're making 4, 5, 6, 800, 900% return in less time that you control versus leaving your money in the market in a mutual fund or some index thing you didn't know what the hell it does anyway. Okay. Or an annuity, they give you 15% year number one, but it's capped out at 4% anyway. And if you take it out, okay, they charge you 15% on the back end plus some. So where do you have more control at?
yeah.
This is it. And that's why they get upset. But dollar for dollar, here's my return. They're all posted. I have nothing to hide. I've been doing this for a while now. The returns are actually posted. The trades are posted. Okay. And here's my 1 year returns. Where's your 3 and 5 year returns? And as soon as you do that, dollar for dollar, the nonsense drops off. So do most of the financial planners.
What percentage of the population do you think would be a candidate for your program for you? In other words, when you look at someone who is, I mean, obviously not a child. I mean, when you filter out the obvious, people, okay, what percentage of the population do you think would be like a really good candidate for what you're talking about?
Probably a good 30 to 40%. I mean, if people are worried that they can't pay their mortgage and they're worried about paying the rent or worried
Mhm.
about food, I mean, and they're not your people anyway,
Right.
okay, then they're not going to work for the program. If they could get the money together, their mindset isn't right and will never be right.
Hmm.
They need to address some real basic issues.
Right. Right.
But for people that are 50 plus, for the most part, and people, why can't you do it if you're 30? Well, you can, but at 30, you're thinking a little bit differently. And there's nothing wrong with that. At 30, you're trying to build things. Okay. At 50, you say, God, my career is halfway over. My life's halfway over.
Yeah.
Now, what do I have? And you reflect more when you're 50. And so, primarily, people that are 50 and older, it works out fine. And I've got one or two guys that are 49, 48. I've got a retired engineer, 78 years old, uh, who was an active trader, who was trading for 10 years before he came to me. And he's, Dr. Fred, I've been trading for a while. I've never seen anything like this
Mm.
because there aren't any systems out there.
Yeah.
There are trading philosophies and strategies, and there are indicators, but there's very few actual systems out there. And when you have a system, you do the same thing over and over again. It produces the same results over and over again. And the same type of people that work for a living, either W-2 or for themselves,
Hmm.
that are 50 plus, these are people of benefits. And there's a
Yeah.
good bit of them out there.
Very good. Well, this is going to be interesting. Um, we reach millions of people, and obviously your program is not a fit for all of them, but I'm thinking, if even 1% of our community is a fit and that they will benefit, it's a lot of people. It's a lot of people. So this is going to be interesting to see how they engage. And my ask of you is, can we visit with you again in, let's say, 6 months or a year, however long, and compare notes and just see how introducing your
That'd be
program,
great. That would be
you
great.
know,
I mean, I got
again,
involved with you because people are involved in distance learning. You believe in distance learning. That's what I do. I don't
yeah,
have classroom stuff. I run a small program. Again, I'm in my mind, I'm retired because
yeah,
I get to do what I want to do. And I like to see people. And again, there's a point in your life where you've accomplished everything that you wanted to accomplish.
yeah,
What are you going to leave behind? This is what I get to leave behind now. And it's fun because nobody ever complains when you show them how to make money.
yeah,
It's a lovely thing. It really is. And I've got I put a quiz together specifically for your folks.
yeah.
that will help walk them through to find out where they are right now and what concerns they might have in thinking towards retirement. And so
Yes.
that quiz is available. And it
Yes.
doesn't cost anything. It's a good starting point. It really is before you do anything at all.
Well, Dr. Fred Rouse, this was another session of Coffee in the Clouds. Take care.
Thanks for your time.